Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome back to Chat and Channel Session. In today's session, I am going to be cluing you in on one of the biggest secrets of the universe, in my opinion, certainly the big secret of the secret, and in manifesting and reality creation and co-creation. This is something, to be honest with you, I wish I knew a whole lot sooner, and it could be the missing piece that you've been searching for to create the manifestation of your dreams. So before we jump in and I tell you what that secret is, let me reintroduce myself or introduce myself to those of you who are new. Welcome back to our returning Chat and Channel Session members. I really appreciate you. And to the rest of you, hello. My name is Danielle, #damsel at Days Enlightened Edits of damseldesigns.com. That's DAMCL designs.com. I am a lifelong spiritual enthusiast, spiritual and psychic medium, quantum Sikhem and shamanic energy healer, life and consciousness coach, energy artist, teacher, and so much more. And this is Chat and Channel Session, where my guides, and in some cases some of you, present me with a topic and we do a stream of consciousness channeling on it. If you would like to participate in the chat portion of Chat and Channel, provided that you are not driving or operating heavy machinery, of course, you can do so by leaving a comment or review depending on which platform you are viewing or listening to this on, or by joining the live chat premieres on my YouTube channel. There is also my favorite way for you to participate, which is by you getting out a journal or the Notes app on your phone or favorite device and doing some stream of consciousness writing along with me as I channel. I hear back from you guys all the time that when you do this, you are able to tap into higher forms of your own intuition and gain insights specific to the topic that we are channeling on today. So I can't wait, as we're discussing a secret today, for those of you who do this to find even more secrets about yourself and how you'd like to apply this to your own reality creation. If you would like some support and help in that, you can visit me on my website, Damsel Designs, that's DAMCL designs.com, where you will find the myriad of ways that I work with you to tap you into and connect the dots with the divine design and understanding and creating with your part of that expansive energy through things like quantum and Akashic Records reading sessions, digital downloads, enlightened merch, and more, and through the application form that you will find there on my website or linked in the description to contact me about expansive life and consciousness coaching packages and quantum Sikhem and shamanic energy healing and journey work. I would love to work with more of you in these capacities, so now that you know where to find me if you'd like to do so, let's get started and jump right into today's secret of the universe. So you've waited long enough. What's the big secret, right? Well, if you've been involved in any aspect of spirituality over the past nearly 20 years, you've probably heard of the secret and the reemergence of the popular topic and belief that thoughts create reality. Well, the big secret is they don't. At least not by themselves. So there is a missing piece. The secret lied to us. The law of attraction is so hollow and ineffective for most people because it's only one aspect of reality creation and manifestation. And if you don't take on the rest of the understanding, which is hidden from most people, you're not going to get very far, in my opinion and experience. And we end up just running ourselves ragged with trying to control our thoughts, thinking that that will help us create a better reality, right? If we try to control the negative thoughts and try to control with positive thoughts and positive affirmations put in their place, it has to end up in creating a better reality, right? Well, no, because we're missing those big pieces. Thoughts by themselves do not create reality. However, thought plus feeling does, because thought plus feeling creates a belief. And in my experience, and with all the knowledge that my guides have led me to, beliefs are what creates reality. There is one alternative, which is that definition creates reality. But that is a subset, because if we define something, then we automatically suspend belief to it. And so that definition plus belief creates the reality. So let's break that down. I know that's probably a lot, but the thought by itself does not create instant manifestation. Thinking something negative on its own is not going to send it into the universe and send it back as a manifestation crystallized in reality. But if you think about it and then attach a feeling, good or bad, to it, that's going to tell the universe, oh, we want to create that. So that is your send button. It's the same kind of thing as typing in a thought into a text message, but never actually sending it. Yeah, you put it out there to a degree, but only to yourself. You didn't press the send button. So the emotion behind that, and then the belief, is what sends it into the universe, and the belief is what crystallizes it into manifested reality. And of course, when we attach an emotion to something and it pings back, we believe that either we'll get it or we won't. And this can happen on an unconscious or conscious level of belief, right? Either we believe and send the intention and belief that we'll get something, and we're doing that so forcefully on our consciousness, but in our unconscious, we are telling ourselves the same story over and over again. We are disbelieving. We are saying it's never worked before. Why would it work this time? And we're feeling all the negative, fearful feelings. We're feeling more so that it's not going to work, that we don't have the thing on an unconscious level. Then we are agreeing with the conscious thought plus feeling that we are working so hard to send and manifest into belief. So this is why sometimes our own manifestations work against us if we are not taking into account the other largest piece, which is understanding our unconscious beliefs or our subconscious beliefs, the beliefs that have been programmed into us from our wounding, from our families, or by taking on the assumptions of our families, our pasts, or society. This is why Buddhists talk about just observing the thought and talk about the importance of the now moment. Because if you can be in the now without the definition of the past projecting on what you're trying to create, then what you're creating is much more powerful without any previously assigned negative connotations. And also, if you can take on the superpower of noticing your thoughts without attaching feeling to them, especially when these are negative thoughts, then you can rest assured in the safety and comfort that you're not going to have to continue to manifest based on those negative thoughts. Unless, of course, you're attaching the feeling and belief system and definition to those thoughts that, oh gosh, now because I thought something negative, that's all that I'm going to get in my reality, and sending yourself down the emotional, energetic feeling spiral and into those negative belief places. You can stop that process. You can step into the place where you notice your thoughts and then you decide, oh, that is something I want, and then assign or attach positive emotion to it, develop it as a positive belief, and allow that to crystallize for you as a part of manifested reality. Or you could notice your thoughts and say, I do not like that thought, I do not want that thought, and do your best to step out of the emotional place, out of attaching negative emotion to it. Eventually you'll get to the place like Buddha where you can simply notice the thought and let it pass by without crystallizing it with energy, with feeling, or with belief. But in order to do so most easily, in my opinion, you have to be willing to deep dive on yourself, to get to know yourself, and to understand what unconscious or subconscious beliefs are driving you, what patterns in your life are driving you, because so often we're continuing to project those things onto our thought patterns and onto our feelings and thus onto our manifestations. We continue to attract the same thing until the mirror of reality shows us the pattern clearly enough that we can say, that is a pattern. What is the belief that is driving that pattern to continue to create itself in my life? Now, this is something, of course, you can do on your own with your self-awareness. But if you really want to get to the deepest roots and heal at the deepest levels, in my experience, it's most helpful to work with someone else, simply because those beliefs are shrouded in emotion, in emotional wounding, and for the most part, pain or fear or calcification. And trying to fully identify or heal them on your own takes an immense amount of energy and a perspective that you may not have while you are simultaneously feeling and tapping into those emotions. Emotions can cloud our thoughts and cloud our energy. And so when we get close to a pattern, close to finding that belief and that wounding, most probably we're going to start to experience the emotional difficulties that created or cemented that belief into us in the first place. And when we feel those feelings, it can be difficult to see what is best to do to clear and turn that thought and belief system and feeling around and turn it into a belief that we want instead. So for example, we could have the belief that we're not worthy or that things always have to be hard. And it can be easy, depending on how long you've been doing this, to identify the belief. But healing the belief can be something different, because when we heal, there is some aspect, as I said, of feeling those things again, of tapping back into that part, into that inner child, whoever experienced that original wound which landed us with the belief. And you need to be able to hold yourself and that part of you in check as you heal and turn the belief around, which for most people is going to be difficult. For me, it's difficult. Really, in my experience, for everyone it can be difficult. And so if you are in a position to ask for and get help and support as you do this, the process can go so much faster and smoother. Now, this isn't to say that you can hire someone to do that work for you and then boom, you're done. These are things that have been ingrained in your nervous system, sometimes in your DNA with ancestral trauma and ancestral karma. These are long held beliefs and thought processes and feeling processes and patterns. So you're still going to be the courageous and brave and strong person that is turning this around and is doing the daily work to lift out of that groove into a higher one of your creation. But doing this with the support and perspective of a healer or a coach like myself, and or the addition of a therapist should you need one, can, as I said, expedite the process, help you identify things more clearly, and be there to hold space for and with you as you feel these suppressed emotions that have been happening under the surface and continuously sending themselves back out there into the reality that you are creating and magnetizing things to you. So if you're ready to turn this around, I encourage you to answer the call if you're feeling one, to work with someone like myself. You know how to reach me on my website to work with me, and to start the process on your own right now, today. Use this missing piece, use this understanding to take some of that stress and anxiety factor off how you are creating and allowing life to create for and with you. Know that you don't have to stress out or shame yourself if you feel a negative feeling or if you feel a negative thought come forward in your life. It's not having to ruin your entire day or entire manifestation process. Feel the feeling, think the thought and let it go. But as you're doing those things, disentangle them from one another. In other words, don't attach the thought to a feeling, or if you're feeling the feeling first, don't allow yourself to spiral and attach it to a thought. Don't give it meaning. Recognize the feeling for what it is. It is a feeling at its deepest roots of what? Of sadness, of fear, of frustration, of anger. What is the feeling? Identify the feeling and remove the thought association or the definition of what it is beyond that, or why it's there, or why it has to be there. Because once you get into this habit or process of understanding that we have the power to disentangle thought from feeling, or to intentionally attach thought and feeling if we want to create it, then we can step into that reality co-creation much more easily and see reflected back at us more of what we want to create, at the same time as doing the work to uncover those beliefs so that subconsciously and unconsciously we are not creating from those negative places either. Now, if this has helped you and you want to dive deeper into that concept of not assigning meaning to things, I encourage you to check out the previous chat and channel session entitled Stop Assigning Meaning to Thoughts and Events. That is a deeper dive on this whole process of why it's so important not to assign meaning to things as they come up in our lives, especially if you are still in the habit of doing so from a negative thought pattern process or wounded or anxious place. This is a habit that most of us have because it is so encouraged by society and frankly by the ego itself, right? You'll notice as events come up in your life that feel stressful to you or that are the opposite of what you want to create, achieve, or manifest, it's human nature to a degree, until we step out of that into higher consciousness, to assign negative meaning to things as they're coming up. So these processes that we are discussing today of disentangling the thought from the feeling when it's something negative that we don't want to create, and not assigning those negative meanings to things, especially as they are coming up, even in our physical reality, this is a process of instant revision. So we are stepping into a power place to create better for us in the moments to come. Because in reality, everything that you are experiencing now, or as it comes up to be experienced in your life, is from a previous thought, feeling, belief, or manifestation of yours or of someone else's that you took on and assumed the meaning for. In a sense, we are living in part of our own past, and this is why it becomes so powerful and important to take stock and be self-aware and understand our self-concept and our belief systems that are creating things unconsciously, and to understand and correct what we are creating consciously by the thoughts and feelings that we are aware of. Because then, no matter what is happening in this current moment, we are stepping and standing in the power position of creating something better for us in the moments and realities to come. And in truth, we don't have to ground and lock in or tie ourselves down to any timelines that we don't agree with. But we believe so much that we do, right? Because we attach so strongly to them, or we allow those unconscious beliefs or wounds or feelings to attach and tie us to those realities, even if we don't consciously agree with them. So these could be things that are deep within us, like in our DNA with ancestral trauma or karma, or so embedded in our mindset because we've been listening to that thought track over and over and over again, whether we were the originator of that thought and negative feeling based on someone or reality or life's treatment of us, or whether we took on the voice of someone else that treated us unkindly, most probably in childhood, and have played that over and over and over again. This is also why it can take a while to correct that behavior, or why in moments of deep stress or sadness or fear, some of that old thought pattern can come back, but you will notice it more quickly, because in moments of fear or deep sadness or anger or grief, our body tries to revert to things that we've known before and have kept us safe before through the ego. Now, the ego assigns things as safe, even if we consciously know that they're hurtful. If we've survived them, it's going to get classified as safe within the realm of our experience simply because we've survived it, even if we suffered in the process. So in moments that are present that feel like suffering, no matter how much work you've done on this, if you revert to those previous thought patterns or thoughts or feelings or beliefs, I want you to be kind to yourself and know that that is a normal part of human processing. It does not mean your healing and your positive intentions haven't worked. It simply is there for you to notice it as quickly as you can, and then go back from your new higher standpoint of noticing it quickly, because remember, once you notice it, it does not have the power or control over you, and then revising it as you've learned to do. And you certainly have the power to do that. But the reason that I felt it so important, and my guides felt it so important to share these secrets, or this big secret with you today, that thoughts don't create reality, at least on their own, is because so many of us in the spiritual community in particular, who have perhaps the most power and the most energy on this planet, are running our power and our energy systems into the ground by assigning this belief that thoughts on their own create reality, and then stressing ourselves out so much every time we have a negative thought and sending ourselves backwards instead of forwards. This is also why I believe that movies and books and ideas like The Secret were put out there with only part of the truth, because these things could not really be hidden any longer. We were awakening so much as a collective that they couldn't continue. The powers that be of public society, or the powers that were, as I more like to refer to them, couldn't really continue to hide all of these truths and these spiritual and arcane truths that most people were starting to reawaken to naturally. So they gave us a little tiny carrot on a string, a little tiny piece of the puzzle, and told us that that was the whole thing, so that we would stop looking, and so that we would put everything invested into that process and way of being. And most people that I've spoken to have not found success in that technique, because it is not, in my opinion, a completely revealed technique. So these techniques are more complete. They're also based more on things like the law of assumption, reality transurfing, a whole bunch of modalities that my guides and I work to understand and blend to have a more holistic picture and practice and technique of healing the self and creating the reality that is more desired. Now, does that mean that it gets to be an instant process for everyone? Sometimes yeah, and sometimes no. It depends on you and your process and journeys through life and through the lifetimes, if you believe and subscribe to the multi-life theories and experiences of past lives and reincarnation. Now, if you believe or have memories of experiencing things many times before and have many layers of wounds, whether that's in one lifetime or multiple lifetimes, it may frankly take you longer or a different non-linear type process to disentangle yourself from the unconscious beliefs. That can go fast or slow. It depends on you and the processes you take and support systems that you employ to disentangle from that way of reality co-creation, and how much you take responsibility for your unconscious and your conscious, and how you work to balance and combine them. Now, I am totally here for the fact that you can have a different way to do this than I do. I'm cluing you in on the systems and practices that my guides and I have worked to come to, so that you don't have to do all that work, hopefully, right? Or so that if you're working on something and it hasn't worked for you yet, try this out instead, put your own stamp on it, or work with me personally so that we can personally develop it for you and where your soul's at and what your soul needs at this time to make the most of it, because we are too powerful to keep stressing over every single thought that we have and sending ourselves 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Let's let those 2 steps be meaningful from now on. And every once in a while, if we take a step back, that's okay, because we have more of the understanding and tools to deal with this and turn it around into the direction that we most desire and want. And I want that for you. I want that for me. My intention is that with this secret and this new perspective and understanding, even if it's not new for you, right? Even if you just needed to hear it again today, if you needed a pep talk in it, that this turns us back to the positive way of looking at life and consciousness and reality creation and co-creation, so that we don't have to punish ourselves so much or feel disheartened like the universe is punishing us, even if we've put in a lot of work and study. So I hope that inspires you today. I trust that it has. If you want to work on this personally, you know where to get a hold of me on my website, damseldesigns.com. I hope that you will stick around and become, if you are not already, a subscriber or follower here at Chat and Channel Session. There is a back catalog of timeless topics and sessions wherever you are listening to this, and the largest back catalog currently on my YouTube channel at These Enlightened Edits through the Chat and Channel Sessions playlist, which is filled with other timeless topics before I was uploading across all the streaming platforms. If you would like to support more of my works and this channel, you can do so through all amounts appreciated energy exchange and donations through paypal.me/DeesEnlightenedEdits, and or by becoming a low monthly cost paid subscriber on Spotify for additional content per month. Either way, I am so glad that you are here and have enjoyed this session today and taken what you have needed from this material and made it your own in your life and consciousness to do its best for you. If you've liked this, remember to like it, and I would love it if you bookmarked it and came back anytime that you needed a refresher on this material or a pep talk if you're going through some of these processes again. And I would also love it if you shared it with those that you think may also find it helpful. If you want to keep in touch with me on the daily, I also encourage you to become a subscriber of me on Instagram at These Enlightened Edits for additional content, lives, and more. I hope to see you next time here at Chat and Channel Session. For today, I'm going to close this session with LoveLight and LightCodes. Love, Danielle. #Damsel at These Enlightened Edits of damseldesigns.com. Be blessed and enjoy yourself and your creations.